Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. Hello, everybody. We've got a TNA for you to start off the month of March, which is Women's History Month. And it also might be a little bit of a groggy conversation. Sorry if so. Drinking coffee right now. Before getting on here, Amber and I were just talking about kind of life and changes and sleepiness and things, because we were planning on recording this an hour before we actually are. And then I literally hit snooze for almost an hour and a half. I woke up and I saw it was 7:17. I was like, oh, fuck. I had all these grandiose plans of you know what? I'll get up at 6. I will just actually head to town and then we can record in town. I can go do some laundry and then hit the gym and then do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, well, guess I'm just going to try to walk my ass down these 2 steps in my tiny home, do this recording, and then try to figure out life. But I did make it to town at least, but I did not make it to town in time to throw in laundry and multitask and blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel like I should be so tired. I don't know why it's so hard for me to get up before 7 o'clock these days. I guess, it could be winter, right? And this is something too we were talking about before recording and felt like some of you out there could definitely resonate, where we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to, be up early, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, get moving, get rolling. And especially I feel like people our age, where that's what you were seeing on the social medias and stuff, of these people who get all this shit done in their day. Like, they're done with the gym by 6 a.m. and done here with this and that. And it's like, to get everything done I want to in a day, I honestly do feel like I need to be up at 5 a.m., but I can't fucking do it. And then I'm also not productive if I am forcing myself up at that time. And it's winter. So if we're thinking about winter and circadian rhythms and stuff, like, your body naturally will sleep a little bit longer. But the biggest thing for me is I wake up early in the mornings, 2, 3, 4 something. And then I lay there. It takes forever to go back to sleep. And then when I finally do, it's within an hour or 2 before my alarm goes off, and I'm just in the deepest sleep I've been in. And that's what happened last night. I was kind of halfway asleep, and around 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm assuming it was 5 in the morning. It's okay, this is an hour now that I can get up. I can just go ahead and get up and start trying to move about my day. And maybe I will just still head to town early, but then all of a sudden, just out. And I mean, I don't know. Are you a snoozer on your alarm, Amber?
Fuck yeah. Especially lately, and on days that I don't have Quincy and don't have to be up and get a kid to school and do all these other things, I will snooze for an hour.
I don't know. Those of you out there who are not snooze hitters, I don't know what your magic is, because I just I can't. I mean, because I'll just hit the button to turn it off, to make it shut up, and then I'm just out again. I've been a snoozer my whole life, and that's why I have to set alarms an hour out. Honestly, I have to know that okay, bare minimum, I need to be up by 7 or something, or if I need to be up at X time, I start setting alarms 45 minutes to an hour before I need to actually get up, because I know I'll just hit that button and be asleep in a second. So I have to have the repetitiveness of the alarm going off, or I'm also the person who sets an alarm every 5 minutes. So till I'm finally so annoyed of it that I'm like, oh my God, get up. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's hard. And like I said, I'm trying not to put the pressure on myself, because it's I don't need to. I do not need to be out of the house or at the gym at 6 a.m. or anything. Would it be nice? Yeah, because by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, if I only had, another hour, if I have to work this job, show up somewhere in person, I should have been up at 5 a.m. and I could have got all this work done by 10 a.m. and then been able to be there at 11. And Yeah, so maybe it's just my life structure in general, but no, I've wanted to be a morning person naturally for a very long time, and it's not. I was
Mm.
forcefully one when I was like actively personally training a lot because I would open the gyms, so I would have to wake up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and be there to open the gyms. But like, I mean, I wasn't living my best life then by any means.
Yeah. It's a
But that's also
struggle, dude.
yeah, and that's also when I was like working at a restaurant too, so I would like not get home until 10, 11, and yeah, that whole thing, and then try to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like that's a different struggle in itself. But yeah, and then when I'm thinking about coming off of wrestling season, I mean, most Saturdays I was up early. Like if I have to, I can get up. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is like I don't have to, but yeah, it'd be nice to like get to the early gym class or something. And that's what gets me when I'm hitting snooze. Like, okay, well, I don't have to do it.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how people do it. My boyfriend gets up at like 4 o'clock and he can just wake up on the first alarm, and I'm like, how?
Does he have to get up that early for work?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that is different because for me, yeah, when I have to be somewhere, like it is, I'll still set a couple alarms. But like, for instance, like you mentioned wrestling tournaments, and there was several where I had to set an alarm for 3:45 in the morning. And I like that first alarm, like, yep, I could be up and like maybe I'd hit snooze, but I would like really just be laying there and be pretty. That snooze was more like, okay, I can stay warm in bed, but I won't fall back asleep.
Yeah.
Because I knew I absolutely could not like sleep in or anything. But I also, before those mornings, like I know I don't sleep as good because I'm afraid of like not waking up. So I have a different level of anxiety while sleeping. So I don't necessarily get a good night's rest sleep anyways. But yeah, it's struggle. And we also mentioned before coming on here like an age thing, and I have no idea because women go through different phases of lives, and I think that's also a thing is throughout your menstrual cycle, there's
Yes,
different
I was gonna
yeah, you
bring that up.
sleep differently, like your hormone levels. So you sleep better or worse and whatnot because like internal things like internal body temperature and stuff like that.
Mm.
Obviously, we know like cramps, those can keep you up. Many different factors that can affect your sleep throughout the month. And then if we factor in age and things like perimenopause and stuff like that, obviously that does affect it all too. But I think for me, honestly, it's just I've never been a great sleeper. My parents would probably laugh hearing that because I was like, I'd be out cold and I was not a morning person. Like it took a long time to get me up. Like I'd be shaken awake. My brother would put like dip my hand in like cups of water, like try to wake me up. I was a hard sleeper, but somewhere along the lines in middle school or before, yeah, it had to be middle school. Like I became a lighter sleeper, but now, yeah, I just have too much going on in my mind that it's hard to shut it off at times.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's sleep is just a weird thing, man.
Dude, it's a thing. I mean, like falling asleep and going to sleep, I'm good at that. But like I said, my boyfriend wakes up at 4, so usually I wake up at that hour too, like in a just like a haze of a
Mhm.
being awake, and then I'll stay awake until he leaves, which is around like 5. And so I'm up from like 4 to 5, and then I'll be like, okay, I can get some Z's in. But I think it would probably be beneficial for me to just wake up around that time and like hop on the Peloton bike, and you know what I mean? Like just get the day going, especially days that I have to be out of the door by 7:30 to take Quincy to school.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying is where when you wake up at those hours, right, and then you fall back asleep, that second kind of round of sleep is like a sudden deep sleep. And
Yeah.
every time I do it and wake up, again, when it's like somewhat of a decent hour, I'm like, okay, just get up, just get out of bed. But I
Yeah.
worry that I would do that when I was younger and like really young, like still at my parents. And I'd get up and like literally 30 minutes or an hour later, I'd be so exhausted. I like have to go lay back down. And then I'm like not up till 9 or something. So I'm worried of that happening. But like so today, I was like, God, I should just get up and get moving. But again, I've had this conversation on here too before of like when you live in a 36-foot trailer and you're trying to wake up early at those hours, it's like, what is there
Freezing.
to do? And I mean,
Yeah.
because I don't have a space and I'm not gonna, the first class at the gym is at 6 a.m., but you all know and have heard about my treks to town. Like, I don't want to like go to town and then have to come back home. Gas is fucking expensive still, you guys. It's like the cheapest spot in Truckee just went back down from $5.29 to $4.99. And so I literally like cannot afford just to drive to town and home multiple times a day. So I
Yeah.
don't want to fucking do that. And I don't have space to do like workout at home really. I could do a little bit of yoga and I tried to, but the fucking dogs, like, when I don't know why they don't follow Andrew around like this, but when I'm up and moving, they are on me. And like, we haven't even been doing anything. I haven't been like taking them for walks every day or taking them out. So I'm like, guys, like, just because I'm putting socks on because my feet are cold doesn't mean we're going somewhere. Like, just go chill with your dad in bed. Like, they're just, I have no space. But yeah, so Andrew today though, I did make that comment about like getting up. I was like, what am I supposed to do at 4 o'clock in the morning? Like, in a trailer if
Yeah.
I do wake up. He was like, whatever you want. So he is definitely supportive of like, yeah, he wouldn't really be bothered if I was up and stuff, but I would be more bothered of the
Yeah.
lack of space or
Totally.
privacy or doggies. And that's why also I wanted to come to town today is to be able to record because Andrew was home with a little peace and quiet, even though he would just be like up out of my way. I just sometimes don't want to record with anyone listening
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah. Dude, that's real. Yeah, and even though it like gets broadcasted to essentially the world, like anyone
Yeah.
can listen to what we're talking about right now, but when you're doing it live, it's nice to have the freedom of no one listening.
Yeah, like
Which
it's
is
it's funny.
so
No, it is. You're right. It's like ironic. This goes out to anyone. He could absolutely listen, and that's fine. But there's something different about it in the moment when you just feel like you can talk about anything. And I'm pretty good about it because he's been around many a time that I've
yeah.
talked. But uh, also, I just knew getting out of the house for me as soon as possible is what I needed today to be in
Yeah.
town and get things done. So yeah, here we are, and just woo, whirlwind. Can't believe February's over.
Right.
I wait, when did we talk? Beginning of February? Have we talked
Yeah.
since wrestling season ended?
I don't, it was right before. I think you
It
had your
was
tournament.
because my TNA in February was my tits was that 3 of our kids qualified for state and my ass was that our senior did not. So
Yeah.
update, the 3 kids that went to state placed in state.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, all 3 placed. So it's the first time in almost, I don't know, I conflicting information what I read or misunderstood. I at least 13 years since we've had multiple placers, but another coach said like 2 decades. So no matter what, like over a decade since there's been multiple placers from Truckee at state. Actually, I think over a decade since anyone placed, so maybe 2 since multiple placers. Anyway, super, super awesome. Really, really proud of the 3 that placed and really the whole team. But it was a I was exhausted the day after state for sure because it was like, I mean, they're long days, and they feel a little bit longer when you only have 3 kids wrestling because there's more time between matches. When you have like 6 kids or more, there's like someone's always wrestling. So there's a little more downtime when you have less kids, but especially because all 3 of these kids were pretty close in weight. So it was kind of like bam, 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 then big weight. But more so, it was like the emotions, man. Like, a heartbreaker of a match that really set us all kind of into a spiral of oh no, like what's going to happen? Is he going to come back like from this loss? Cuz he's got a big fight to go through if so. And yeah, then just the emotions of once they got into the medal rounds was just like a huge weight lifted off all of our chests and shoulders, and like, oh my god, like they fucking did it. um oh, just tears by all of us, like,
Oh, I love
yeah, like just incredible. The best matches, like I said too, in regionals were like the ones of them getting into like their guaranteed place, like walking away with a medal. And yeah, just the three that made it are so deserving. And so it was just a whew, like a emotional hangover the few days after, because you're just kind of thinking about the whole season too, and everything's just like wow, it's like we're done. And then it's just crazy in general to think about the amount of emotions really that you do put into these things as a coach. It's just as much, if not more, probably more, honestly, than when you were an athlete in the sport, because your emotions are in so many different kids instead of like your own athletic
it.
journey or your team. So it's like it takes a huge toll. So I feel like it's been honestly a couple weeks of like trying to figure life out again, get my mind like all kind of reset. I jumped
I
back
would
into
love
working at the brewery because we had like President's Week and whatnot. So that I worked like 6 days straight there, and yeah, it's just
a
whew, here we
change.
go, one roller coaster to another.
Dude, 6 days straight. That's a lot.
Yeah, I because I picked up a couple in there, and after this that week, I was like, I have no idea what it's going to be like again, because it hasn't been snowing here, so it's like it could very well be pretty dead. So I needed to, and I hadn't been working there, so I was really trying to get as much as possible, take advantage of these busy times, and then yeah, it seems like it's back to that kind of regular, slower type thing. But yeah, yeah, like never something not going on. Every time I think there will be some
Never.
downtime, there's not, and just constantly trying to figure out my life. So that's kind of annoying, but
Yeah. For people who are like, "Oh, I was bored, so I went on a walk," or like, "I was bored, so I went shopping," or like, just have this time. I'm like, how? How do you like what in your life enables you to do that? Or like sometimes when I see people like walking their dog at 9:30 on a Tuesday, I'm like, how do you why aren't you at work? Like, you know what I mean? And I understand like we all have different lives, and like some people work from home, and like we can walk our dogs in the middle of our workday. You
hmm
know what I mean? But
yeah.
I'm just like, how are people finding this free time to do these things? And then I'll see myself in the evenings just like sitting on the couch watching TV, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's just people making the most of their days.
Well, see, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning with waking up early, right? And how, oh, if you wake up early, you can get all the so much more stuff done, blah, blah, blah. And that's the mindset I have, but it's so super hard to get up early. And I'm just constantly feeling like I'm running out of time. And then, yeah, there's
Mhm.
those moments like, I know I need to work out in the morning because in the evening I won't, even if I
Yes.
am sitting and doing some like mindless TV watching, because you still sometimes just need to totally relax and do nothing.
Yeah.
And that, I think too, like we go in phases. I think it's much easier for me to do that, and probably you too, like in the winter. Like it's already dark around 6 o'clock. So naturally you're like, "Meh, I'm done for the day, clocked out." In the
Yeah.
summer, by 6 o'clock, you're like, yeah, there's so much more hours for activities. So I think
Mhm.
that yeah, when you have free time in the evening because of your schedule, it's a little bit harder to be productive with than in the mornings. And when you're able to set, I know for me, when I'm able to set my schedule, it's like I want to get work done as soon as possible, but I also know if I'm not getting some things done in the morning, I'm definitely not going to do them in the evening. But last night I went to CrossFit at 4 p.m., and that is like
Wow.
something I do like once a fucking year. I do
Yeah.
not go to afternoon classes, but I ended up picking up a shift yesterday at the brewery at 1 o'clock, and so yeah, things just with my day got all kind of messed up, not messed up, but like changed around,
Shifted.
and I'm like, again, if I try to make it to this 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever, 11 o'clock slot, like really it ends up taking like 3 hours for me to do a 1 hour gym class because of like, okay, get ready, take the half hour to get to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Then I have a half hour after the gym. It's like I've lost a couple hours, like, again, like probably like closer to 3 hours of work for just that 1 hour of gym time. So I was like, I
Mhm.
really need to get stuff done because I picked this shift up. So I need to work until, I have to go to work. And then it ended up being dead and I got cut. So I was like, okay, just fucking do it. Go to the 4 o'clock class, like, because there's still opportunity to do it, and like, don't miss this day. I really wanted to do this workout. It was our 5 rep max for back squats, and I love squatting, so I was like, I want to fucking do this workout. And it's just easier for me to do those kinds of workouts in an environment that's like building you up. Everyone's working towards this goal. And then I
Yep.
saw this girl was signed up who last week we did a 10 rep max together. I was like, oh, Kenzie's going. Like, okay, I'm fucking going to 4 o'clock because we were kind of at the same weight. I was like, she'll be my, like, hopefully we can partner up again. And we did. It was so funny. I got to the gym. She was like, Darren, like, you're my partner today. I was like, yes. And
Love that.
um yeah, we were like discussing our plan of action, and we both hit the weight we wanted to. And after, she was like, okay, because she's a little bit smaller. Well, not a lot, a little bit. She's kind of a lot bit smaller than me. Um, she's like, we're not at the same weight anymore. Like, you could have easily done 20 more pounds. Like, next time I'm making you do that. And that's why I love the CrossFit gym, because like you can meet some people like that, and they kind of push you a bit. And just being an athlete minded
Yeah.
person, I need that kind of coach or push, because you get in your
Yes.
head of like, oh, I don't know. And I mean, my adrenaline was so high for in energy in the afternoon, so I think that I could have done more, but I was kind of afraid and I just wanted to get it done with. So I just like, okay, let's do it. I didn't want to push more, but now it's like next time I know I can definitely do more. And started talking to another girl too, because I was like, dude, I'm so tired of like having this pity party that I've been having of like, I have no friends, I have no one to hang out with. So like, I choose to just do more work instead of try to go have fun at all, because I'm like, I have no one to do it with and I don't want to do it alone. And like being self-conscious of what I talk about all the time with biking in the summer, like going with anybody because of my cardio and blah, blah. But I was like, dude, I am wasting so much fucking time. I need to just start reaching out to people, even if like I don't know them well, and I feel like they probably think I'm better at snowmobiling or doing this or that than I am. And then I'm going to get out there and they're going to be like, oh, she's not that good. And then never want to go with me again. I was like, I just like, I can't rely on just fucking having Andrew and then my friend Tess, because Tess and I have very different schedules and don't like, we only go out behind our houses. I want to go to different places. I want to explore. And again, I don't need to rely on just Andrew to get me out there and do these things, because I also like, I don't learn that well from him, and we're getting to a point where it's like not enjoying going out with each other because I'm not having fun, because we're getting mad at each other and I'm
Mhm.
getting frustrated. So getting out with different people and in different environments where I can kind of learn, I think will actually help our relationship and enable us to like get back to wanting to go out
Yeah.
together.
100%.
So,
And
yeah.
doing that with like a group of women, like we've talked about a million times, is just
Mhm.
so much different than doing it with your partner, who
So much
is
different.
generally a little bit better, like more
Yep.
advanced or well rounded in it. And you're just like, I'm just a baby at
Yeah.
this. Help.
Well, and like I'm sure I've talked about it before, but when we go out, it's not usually just him and I, and it's other people, and I can really keep my cool when it's the friends of his coming together and helping me or something. But when it's him, I take all my emotions out on him. And we did talk about this. We have talked about this. I've told him, and I've told him, like, I need space when I get stuck or frustrated. So, like, don't come to me right away, or, like, send someone else. Like, you don't come to help me, because I just, like, I know, I'm very aware it's not fair, but you're my person. I'm safe with you. So yeah, I'm going to take out all these, like, deep-seated emotions on you.
Hard down.
Yeah. So that's what I know too, that it's not always the best to go out together. But I want to be able to. And yeah, we were in a weird place with things. And yeah, yesterday, just at the gym, I just started, I was like, yep, here we go. I'm going to just, like, tell this girl I've been trying to get a hold of her, and because she wants to ride. And she is one of those girls that can be a very, like, hype girl. I'm like, I fucking need that in my life. And, like, she just started snowmobiling this year, but I think she is learning quickly too. And it's like, I don't fucking care. I just want to go out. And so if she's amped to go out and has more availability or whatever to go out, and it's totally cool with, like, us two just going out and fucking around for a little bit, like, I need more of that. And
Yes.
yeah, so just started
I
putting
think we
myself
all
out there
do.
yesterday. Yeah.
Even to
Well,
help
it's
us
hard.
get out of fucking bed,
Dude,
dude.
it
Which
is.
usually, I feel like usually if you and I have, like, a recording session at 7:30, we're both usually good at being
Yeah.
like, okay, I have this thing at 7:30. I'm going to be up and ready and all this other kind of stuff. But today was a fucking struggle, dude.
Well, I just didn't even look at the clock. I just kept hitting snooze, like, eyes closed, and I finally was able to peel my eyes open and see the time. And then I jumped up. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, oh my God. Like, I was in such a deep sleep that it going off, I couldn't remember. Like, it was weird because, like, okay, yeah, I wanted to go to town, but, like, I don't know. It just was not in
Yeah.
the forefront of my mind. It was so
Same.
buried. But
Where
yeah,
are you? Do you still get periods?
yeah.
Where are you in your cycle?
About to start it.
Okay, I'm a
Sometime soon.
week. This is my first week off of it, so I'm like a week past it.
Yeah.
But that's a weird little window that we're in. It's like you're about to start in a week, right? I'm almost a week off.
And so I've been feeling pretty tired and exhausted. And I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna start a little bit earlier because that's normally what happens, but it hasn't yet. So then that's annoying too, right? When you're trying to follow your cycle and you're, like, feeling these symptoms and you're like, okay, but then it's, like, further off than you thought. So you're like, God damn it, like, this is kind of pointless following it because apparently I'm just tired every fucking day. So like,
especially in the winter when it's dark and cold and hard to get out of bed.
But I'm excited because by the time you all are listening to this, you will have heard, or at least Angie Marie's second episode with us will be out. And so we talk about we don't go in, like, the conversation we had last time was kind of about cycles and life cycles and how different life cycles can line up with your period or are similar to the cycles in your period, seasons of life and your period and stuff like that. This time we focused on like, kind of talking about it more, like, different period products, being active on your period and stuff like that, so a little more focused. But yeah, it's just a real thing, man, that we definitely, again, I don't think that, like, organizing your life around your period is necessarily, like, cycle syncing. I'm not super bought into that because of, like, what I just said, that you start to feel, you're thinking about your things, looking at your calendar, like, okay, yeah, it's a few days away. I should be feeling this way or that way. And then it doesn't come or something. And it's just, it can be a mind fuck. But I'm 100% for, like, just doing what you can, like, totally just being more in tune with your body in general. Like, not planning that, hey, this week is my late luteal, so I'm not going to go to the gym, or I'm only going to do yoga or something, because you don't know what's exactly going to happen or when. And if you feel good, then do whatever makes you feel good. And if you get halfway through that workout or get that workout started and you're like, whoa, 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 I need to back off, then back off. Like, I think that's what you should do in general in life. And I've been trying to do that a lot more. And yesterday, again, at the gym, I just was kind of talking to this girl. I was just, like, letting it all out there. Like, yeah, I haven't been doing anything, like putting myself out there at all. Put a lot of pressure on myself, super self-conscious about things, and doing things with new people and whatever, and tried to took the like a year off the CrossFit gym, and then I came back, and because I felt like it wasn't really doing anything for me, and then I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I just now do what I can instead of being so worried about like I can't do this. This workout kills me. I can't run. Like just fucking do what you can and don't worry about what anyone else thinks. But I can do that at the gym and I can't do it for outdoor activities.
The
I
strug,
know.
man.
And it's so hard meeting new people too at our age because can you get into your routine? Where do you meet new friends? Again, certain pressures or this or that. You're in it, but I'm like, no, man, I need some fucking friends. It's like I cannot just have again Andrew and like Jackie's really the only other person I hang out with, but again, her schedule is like pretty set and tight. So I know on a Monday we can't go hang out in the afternoon. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm like, God, I really need to
Have
fucking
you,
hang out with people.
have you played around with the Illa app at all?
No, I was just gonna say that like not lately because I haven't been doing anything. Like I'm not interested in touring right now. I don't want to go split boarding. And I don't have a pass anywhere to go downhill skiing. And I know there's obviously other things you can do, but I just haven't been quite there yet. Like I want to
Yeah.
start with the people that are at arm's length that I
Oh,
kind of
good.
I have a base of knowing them and we've thrown around doing something. I just kind of want to start there instead of complete strangers.
Totally. Yeah, I
But
hear that.
it is such a great resource, but yeah, I'm still just too chicken shit to do something with a complete stranger. But I think anyone out there who isn't should.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, definitely.
But speaking of that, because it is, like I said, the start of Women's History Month, like, you know, it's funny, I had a conversation with someone recently of this woman who has a like women based focused company, but kind of hates Women's History Month and just on the basis of like, you know, we should be celebrating this like all the time kind of thing. And I was thinking it is kind of funny. I'm like, I don't have to do this huge thing for Women's History Month with the podcast by having these, like big heavy hitter guests like I wanted to and have planned the last couple years and it just doesn't happen because things take so much fucking time to plan and execute on and even when I try
Yes.
to do it months out in advance it still ends up being weeks before that things are getting finalized or people are answering back so it doesn't really work out always but anyways point being it's like this is a women's focused podcast year round so don't necessarily have to do anything extraordinary for March because I'm just trying to do good shit, big shit all the time.
Mhm.
But I still do want to recognize Women's History Month, of course, and celebrate it. But I just feel that we celebrate it year round too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
I've got nothing huge
Always.
planned. By the time again this comes out, this will have passed, but putting together a women's sled mechanics night. And again was hoping to like once a do one a week for March, something like it, a hands-on kind of event. But like I said, planning, reaching out to people, not quite getting back to me. Reach out to one person about maybe bikes or something, and she never messaged me back. Granted, she may have like just forgot to, and I just didn't follow up. But whatever. I just like again, I'm like, it doesn't have to happen in March. Like, I really don't need to load my plate with all these things right this second, like trying to just
Yeah.
get my feet back on the ground and work too. Like I need to make actual money, so I can't like put everything into this podcast as much as I want to and organizing free events when it's spending hours and hours and hours a week on this shit when I need to pay fucking bills. So
Dude.
that's the real reality of why I also took 6 days at the fucking restaurant in a row.
Yeah. Good on you, though.
Yeah, got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially in the, like, pseudo off season, like, I don't know if what the brewery is like right now, but I know that there's it's like another seasonal job because of where you're at with like tourism and
Exactly.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, okay, the next couple months, March, April, May, and I gotta figure things out and whatnot, because if I'm at the restaurant in the summer, like that's gonna take a lot more time because there's gonna be more
Mhm.
opportunity to work there anyway too. So just kind of trying to
Yeah.
figure out like what are the next couple months gonna look like before it picks up over here, and like maybe lessons over here. I don't know, but we'll see. And I'm still trying to get into this leadership program from the Futurist Project is what it's called, and I don't know if I do get into that. I have no idea what it will look like. It's like a 6-month program, and I think we meet weekly or something. But that's something to take into consideration with my schedule too, of like how much time do I need to set aside for that? Because if I'm investing time and energy and things into that program, then I need to really make sure I'm like carving the time out to focus on it.
Mhm.
But just the typical Taryn doing 1 million things, biting off a gazillion trillion things, and barely making any money doing all of them. So
Well, hopefully that narrative will change soon and things will turn a new page.
yeah, we'll see. Need to get back on my reach outs for like brand partnerships things and figure out how this podcast can be monetized. And I know one way all you listeners out there can help. And I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm going to ask you to follow if you're not, subscribe if you haven't, share it. I think sharing it's the biggest thing, because I know for me personally, if I'm
Mhm.
listening to a podcast, I'm probably subscribed to it already. But if you just came across this as your first episode, it would really help to subscribe. If you've been listening a while, fucking for God help us, like, share an episode to your social media. I think I'm just screaming into the goddamn void on social media, because I think our people, Amber, like our friends and our like main
Mhm.
followers and stuff, they're followers, but like we've had enough of social media. You scroll, but like you don't want to post, you're not really interacting, but not you particularly, just like I said, the people in our circles. So there's just not engagement there like there used to be.
Yeah.
No one I know, like personally, my best friends, give a fuck about social media. So I can't get, even little clicks and answers on goddamn polls that I'm like, you just looked at the
Yeah.
story. Why can't you just hit yes or no? Like, if 80 of you looked at it, why did only one of you hit a button? Like, how is this hard? I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. And it is impossible, is what it feels like. So I fucking hate social media, but have to just keep being there. And
Yep.
like, some of you still have more engagement than I do. And that's where it's like, yeah, if you share an episode there, that could help. That is not the main source of where we get listeners, but my God, because I said, I'll take all the help I can get. And like, if you happen to want to donate, we still have the buy me a coffee link in our show notes every fucking week. But again, not gonna beg for money right now. Y'all came through on the Outdoor Media Summit, but I will beg for follows and shares and just getting our listenership up, and feedback. Again, what do you want to hear? Give us the feedback, good or bad, so we can make this better, so more people do want to listen.
Yeah.
And that's
I
my
don't know how
cry to the
it's like,
world.
and it's so hard to like find the right way and
Yeah.
to find like fine tune your aesthetic, your presence, your it's really wild. And to the people who do that as a living, good job because fuck,
Hmm.
that is like a niche that not many people can do on their own. Thus, this is why those people have jobs.
Yeah, exactly. I can do it a lot better for other people and not myself, because guess what? I have to do it for work for others. And yes, I want to monetize this thing, but by the time I do everything else for other people, I ain't got much left to do here, to go through every episode and edit and find sound clips and find photos and make posts. And it is a full-time job for sure on top of other jobs. But yeah, people, give us the give us your support out there in the easiest free ways possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, such is
Please.
life. That's it. That's March. Got some, hopefully, I mean, I had a good possibility of a bigger guest, and now I haven't heard from the marketer from this company in a couple weeks, and I'm like, oh my god, like, but again, people are fucking busy. I
Yep.
used I came from, being able to respond to an email immediately, and now I know that I can't. I don't respond to texts all the time, but sometimes it still takes me a while to remember, like, okay, it was just Thursday. Like, literally, it can take a couple weeks for people to get to you in their inbox. Like, life is busy. They have priorities. So trying not to worry about it much, but I sure hope that this company decides to come through. But yeah, do you have anything going on coming up?
I bought a new car yesterday.
What? That's
A new to
awesome.
me car. Yeah,
Well,
I
God,
bought
much
a
needed.
shit, dude. So, for those of you who don't know, I was driving around a 2001 GMC Yukon that had 500,000 miles on it and harbored multiple children. So I had like the stickers on the window, the food stains in the carpet, the shredded seats, and now I've upgraded my life to a 2015 RAV4. And
Oh.
I was like apprehensive of getting it because it's like the LE, which is the basic model, and
Mhm.
my old GMC Yukon is like the deluxe version with the heated seats and the electronic this and that and the sunroof, and I'm like, oh, but it's an LE. But this is my first ever. I took out a car loan for it, so it's like my first ever car loan situation. And I have good credit. For the record, I have excellent credit. I'm in the 800s, but I need
Wow.
to. Yeah, I got 814, baby.
Dang, that's incredible.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it, but it's
You
because
should be.
been I have not taken out loans. I haven't been in debt, but in terms of like credit world, you have to have a credit profile, and in
Mhm.
order to do so, you have to be in debt.
Yeah.
So, this is my first step in establishing my credit profile. So now I'm in debt for this car, which is fine and great. But yeah, so I bought this new to me car yesterday, wrote the guy the check, got the shebang all along the road. And so we're planning on going down to Seaside in a few weekends to be like, inaugural road trip. And so by then I'll have my license plates and I'll have it insured. And yeah, so gonna be going on a road trip and yeah, just trying to get back to a fucking schedule because strep throat took me out last week. I was like dead to the fucking world for days.
Ugh.
I just quarantined in my room. I could barely eat. I didn't eat
Oh.
from like Sunday to Wednesday because it just hurt so bad to swallow. And of course, when you're sick like that, you need nourishment. And I think I
Mhm.
ate like some mushed, muddled soup that was like high in turmeric and ginger and like all these other beneficial things. But I was just like, it hurts so bad to swallow that I like barely ate any of that. So, anyways, just trying to like get back to life after dying from strep.
Man, sickness can take it out of you for sure. Even if
Dude,
it's
I
just
feel
a
like
a
we've been
week.
sick all the latter half of winter. Like from January to February, it's just been like every other week there's something either with me or my roommate or Quincy. And I'm just like, give me a fucking break from this flu season because shit, man. Like just those like little interruptions just
Mhm.
throw off so much. And it's just like it proves that we need routine and schedule, and it
Mhm.
also proves that just how crucial it is to the day-to-day function. It's just bonkers. But yeah, this week just trying to get back on a schedule, working out. I bought a Peloton bike. I don't know if I told you that.
No, you didn't, but
She
you
just
mentioned at the beginning that you should wake up when boyfriend wakes up and get on the Peloton, and I was like, does he have a Peloton or something?
no, she has a
Oh
Peloton,
my god, hell
girl.
yes. God, I
I've
wish I
been
still had
looking at
mine.
one. I know. Do you still have your subscription though?
Yeah, well, I paused it cuz like I don't use it in the winter cuz my bike has to be outside, so
Yes. Yeah.
um it's a little bit buried in snow, not much, but I thought about digging it
Yeah.
out the other day, honestly, and using it, but so yeah, no, I haven't been Pelotoning in months.
On
Yeah.
pause seasonally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been looking for one for a while, and then I signed on to Facebook to like message these people in University Place about buying their Peloton, and my cousin was like, "Hey, I'm selling my Peloton bike. Is anybody interested?" And I was like, "Oh shit, dude, I am interested." And so the next weekend we went over there and I got it, and it came, she like gave me all the like bells and whistles and stuff, and me, my roommate, and even Quincy has been using it. Like he's like finally big enough to where he can like be on it, because a few years ago when I had access to one, he was still too little
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
even at the lowest height. So yeah, it's a lot of purchasing of things lately.
Hey, but good for you things, not
Yes.
like not incredibly
Drugs.
frivolous. Like
Yeah,
the
I'm not
Peloton
like
is for the fucking health and wellness, and the fact that Quincy can jump on it too. Like that's cool. And then so it's at the house, so roommate, anyone can use it. That's rad.
anytime too. It's
When
so
I'm in
nice to
town,
feel
I'll come
that.
use it because my mom has a
Yes.
spin bike, but it's just like an Amazon bike, and so obviously I can use the Peloton app on it, but the bike, it's I don't know, I'm just a picky little bitch, and I don't
Dude,
like
same.
the bike itself, and I love the Peloton, and I like my
Yes.
analog spin bike, but that analog spin bike came from the gym. Like it's a pricey piece of equipment. Yeah,
Yes.
old, but like it's a solid piece because it was meant to be like a commercial exercise bike
Mhm.
versus a very cheaply made one that just doesn't go quite as smooth as I like and as comfy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that's part of like being a cyclist, right?
Hmm.
Like my cousin who was selling this was like, I've probably done like maybe 10 rides. She's like, but I'm not a cyclist. I've been using it more for the classes. You and I are cyclists. You know what I mean? So we have like it within that, you learn what you do and don't like. And so when you find a piece of machine or equipment that you do like, you're like, all right, this is the one, and there's no turning back. And so when you hop on things that aren't as up to par, you're like, oh, that's a little different,
Well, that's
and I don't
like,
like
yeah,
it.
you froze for a second there. So I don't know if you said this about your cousin, but like when you came to town, right, and we're trying to ride a different mountain bike, like yeah, it was a great bike, but it was too small for you. And
Yes.
whereas like 10 years ago, if you would have gone on that bike, you would have known no difference. You'd be like, this is awesome,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Our
Yeah.
first mountain bikes, for instance, my first one that I got with you from Craigslist in Seattle for $150, like got the job done. And then it's not until you get on something better and learn a little bit that you're like, oh my God, never going back kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Like you
A
live and
thousand
you learn.
percent.
Yeah, totally. When you don't know what any difference, then it doesn't matter. But
Yes. But
when
when
you know.
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you definitely need a new car. You were having lots of troubles with yours. I mean, what you had, how long was it that you had to use a freaking Bluetooth speaker for the radio? Like,
The
again,
whole time.
yeah, like little things, but it's like at a
I
certain
couldn't
age, you're
for
like,
the
I
past.
deserve to have nice
Yeah.
things. Like, you're not pouring, you didn't make like me, who, when I went to get my first like new car, decided to go way overboard and out of my budget and extreme. Like, you're still smart at least, and got something that I'm sure you can
Let's hope so.
totally afford the payment and the insurance instead of going for broke every fucking month trying to pay for this. But now I'm like, I can't. What am I supposed to do? Like, sell it for a
Yeah.
15-year-old car? Like, because again, after you've been up here, it's hard to go
Reach
back
that.
down. But I'm
It
like,
really is.
life. And again, this
God.
is like extreme first world problems. I should just be smart and figure something fucking out. But I talk myself out of it because I'm like, well, most people have this kind of car payment. I'm like, most people have a fucking like full-time job with benefits and not what I do. So yeah, whatever.
We pave our own way, my dude.
We do.
Like,
I'm
the
literally
universe
doing it like
complies.
from the centuries back of digging it with a goddamn shovel, laying one stone at a time instead of using these fancy machines and cement trucks or something. Like,
Oh my
it's okay
god.
though. It's okay.
But
It's okay.
also, there's something to be said with evolving with the times as
Yeah.
far as like buying the newest and latest and greatest, as opposed to like being, I don't know, 10 to 20 years behind, which that is what I do. And I think I'm okay with that because I'm
Yeah.
also really rough with things,
Yeah.
and like having this
Same.
newer car, I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta worry about the paint job, and like I can't like fuck around off-roading because of, but I'm gonna hold on to my old rig just in case I need to get a little back roadsy with it and not give a
Yeah.
fuck.
Totally. Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I'm so proud of you on your new
Thank
purchases.
you.
Like I said,
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
they're
Me
they're
too.
up
This is like,
level things. They're not
yeah,
frivolous.
leveling
They're
up.
up leveling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Andrew's gonna pop in here any minute with the doggos,
Oh
so
heck
I
yeah.
better. I guess he might drop them at the parents. I'm at the using his house in town because it's empty of renters, but it's completely like a fucking garbage shit show that we need to clean up and fix a bunch of shit because it was not left in great shape. So that sucks.
Damn.
But it's a
Hopefully you
place
didn't
I
give
have to
those
go
people
quiet.
their deposit back.
Well, there's some things with that. They're just
We'll talk offline about it.
they didn't get charged one
Okay.
because Andrew is a very nice person and trying to help people out, and in turn he
You
got
can't.
fucked, fuckity fucked. So we're pretty salty about a few things in life.
I would be
And
too.
yeah, not my house, but obviously I help with things, and
Repercussions.
yeah, I'm on his side, and it just sucks that like this is something that's put on all of us really, and it sucks because he was just trying to be a nice person and got
Hopefully
fucked.
he
And
learned
that's
his
what happens in
lesson.
life. And this is why people are not nice because they get fucked
Yeah.
and then they don't want to be nice anymore. So it's really
Hmm.
hard to remain being a nice, giving person when you just feel like the universe is giving you shit back. And we've all been there, I'm sure, at
And
different
fuck
times
the
in our
people
lives.
who take advantage of the nice people. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like there's
unfortunately,
so many people.
I just feel like that is our world these days. That's how people get by. Those are the winners. Those are the fucking winners,
Yeah.
and we're looking at it right now with our goddamn administration. So it's really frustrating. I don't want to go out on that tangent or like on that
Yeah.
tangent rather. We'll go out on it, but like yeah, these are the times that you feel like pretty beaten down and defeated because these are the people that
Salty.
are fucking winning, and it's like
Uh-huh.
so disheartening, like so disheartening I could fucking cry thinking about it. And I'm actually going to talk to
Yep.
Katie Hawkins again today. I'll tell you about that, about
Oh,
some shit going on in
tell her
the
hi for
world.
me.
i
God,
will
she's
i
such a
will I'm meeting
queen.
with her at 1 for a little bonus like episode here that we just talked about last night to talk about the
Cool.
layoffs
Oh,
and get some of her professional insight. So
yes, I would
anyways,
love to listen to that episode.
yeah, I don't know when it will come out. If it will, I'm sure it will be out before this one, so people will hear about it there. But all you out there listening along for our TNA tangent, thank you so much. If your sleep is fucked too, we're there with you. Maybe we can all be in this together and get out of our snooze habits or not putting that much pressure on yourself. Let your body do what it needs. It needs to sleep. So how do we figure out how to get better sleep habits? There's so many things that we can look into. But most of all, just fucking don't think you have to be that, you got the same 24 hours in the day that Beyonce has, because you fucking don't. She's got a lot of help and assistance. So
Yes.
just, I don't know. We'll figure it out together on this midlife journey.
Straight, baby.
All right, straight. Everybody, thanks. And we will talk to you soon. Goodbye. We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.